Well, welcome back, everybody. It's great to be back on another edition of the podcast. Again, we're still getting lots of requests in and lots of different names for this. Still haven't came up with a specific name, but welcome back. We bring on our very own Mr. Commissioner. Welcome back to the program. We're happy to have you here.
Thanks. Feels like there's a big part missing today, though. And we do a good job of trying to fill it up.
Yeah, we'll address that. But and then our guest, Mr. I guess I don't even know what your team name is. It's kind of weird, but Mr. Norrell, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, guys. It's an honor.
I don't like your shirt or your background of your room right now, but that's not what this podcast is for. However. Kind of going right into it, Kyle, you started us off. I mean, did you have anything to say to our usual other colleague of ours that's usually on this podcast? Now that he's not here, do you want to air anything out in front of us before we get into our review of the week?
I miss him. I was really looking forward to seeing his beautiful face on the screen, and I got Bob's instead. Comment on, but let's just say it left a little bit to be desired. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, Kyle's just a little bit bitter after the beatdown I put on him last week. So
it might be part of it, but that might be part.
Hey, sticks and stones, they break my bones, but words, I always forget how it ends, but that's just how it is. So let's just dive right into the review of what happened last week. Let's see. Alrighty. So I guess it's going to start with mine just because I'm logged into mine, but my team name I changed my team name. It was preseason champion, and I won with that team name. But that was before I changed it. So I beat Mike last week, 115-86. Pull up the quick glance here. Solid performances by every player. It really was kind of a top to bottom team. On paper, we just had great matchups all on the board. I was happy with everybody's effort and happy the way everybody came out, especially when I had that Thursday night game. I know, Kyle, you and I have both said to each other we're not fans of the Thursday night, but Eric Decker came out, gave me a touchdown and 100-plus yards and 18 points, which you do. And looking at Mike's team, not a lot of effort. He got an in-game injury in Moncrief. He's done. I just heard he's done for 4 to 6 weeks with a broken scapula. Andrew Luck played against the Broncos. Had the best defense of all time, it seems like, because Andrew Luck couldn't do anything. Mike just didn't get much effort out of other players, and Doug Martin got hurt mid-game as well for him. So Mike had a lot of injuries in mid-game, and so did I. But Kyle, do you want to comment on this matchup?
Sure. Okay, you had a pretty solid performance. I mean, can you imagine if Stewart didn't suck? You could have had even more points. Mike had too many 2s and 0s up there. He had some players, though. He did have some players go. His defense, kicker both played well. Usually that amounts to something, but he just couldn't find it.
Yeah, you're right. When your kicker and your defense, when they have at least more than 10 points, each of them, you're hoping like that's gonna, that's good. I mean, you're hoping at least 10 out of those two. And just other players in it. Bob, do you have any comments on this particular game?
Actually, Kib, I don't get why you're trying to trade all the time, because your roster, like looking at it, at least the starting roster is actually pretty solid. So that's just my thought right there. But I mean, yeah, Mike, it's going to be hard to win with Sammy Watkins, Dwayne Allen, and starting on your lineup. So I just don't believe two players at all.
Kib.
Yeah.
I saw that Corey Coleman broke his hand.
I know
that as well. Just up.
I know.
Not like you were playing him. He had a good week last week.
Yeah, I saw that. I was watching SportsCenter today, and it said broke his hand. I was like, oh, great. So, well, we fight through it. And Bob, to address your question, I just try to get better. I mean, I can't foresee this Corey Coleman injury happening, but I got to try to avoid these things as much as I can. That's why I got to try to get guys off my roster, and we have a high turnover rate. We're kind of like McDonald's here. We want workers in and out. We want the best players, the best people when they're performing at their highest point. But it was a good game. Mike, you tried, and I just dominated. I had a good week. So moving on to the next game, we had Andrew versus Hutch. Another good win from Hutch. I don't like to say that after what he's kind of been doing the last couple hours. However, Andrew, he didn't think he was going to win, and he didn't win. Kyle, why don't we just start with you and what you think of this matchup? What happened?
I mean, Hutch's team, that was a lot of just not great games and 3 really good ones. I mean, that Matt Forte game, I don't want to say he might have actually won because of a Thursday night game for the first time in history. But yeah, that Matt Forte game, he has an average day of 12 points. He loses this game. I mean, he pulled one out this week, and that's what it's all about. You just got to try and pull out victories when you can.
Right. Bob?
Well, I mean, there's been loose talk about Hutch having the best team, and it's showing right now because when Antonio Brown only gets you 3 points and you still win, I mean, that shows you still have a pretty solid team to back up. So he made a nice pick, picking Kelvin Benjamin up in the draft. I mean, everyone knew he's a pretty good player, but I don't think anyone was expecting what he's doing right now. So, I mean, that's all I got to say about that. Andrew got dealt a tough hand with Danny Woodhead hurting his knee, but
a lot of grit is leaving his team. A lot of grit.
Yeah.
We talked about that in our preview of the draft, and he said he was going to draft Danny Woodhead. He did.
I will say Andrew's team's not looking too bad because he does have Stephon Diggs, who looks like pretty solid player.
Coleman had 12. I didn't even see that. I didn't know he had a good game. Wow.
So I mean, Andrew was a pretty smart drafting Coleman because I don't think anyone anybody expected to get an even split between him and Freeman. So
no, and with Doug Martin, he's on Mike's team. He's got Charles Sims. He handcuffed him. So Charles Sims is the backup, and he'll get plenty of touches going forward. So Andrew, even though he's 0-2, he's in a good spot for being 0-2, I guess, if there's a way to put that. But it's sad about Danny Woodhead, but Hutch, he got kind of lucky with the way with Forte and the way Kelvin Benjamin, and I don't know. It really wasn't that dominating of a win. It was just a little luck is involved, and that's what happens with fantasy. Moving on. We had a close matchup between the other guy and Eric. 88, a very low scoring game, 88-82. However, the other guy came out on top, came victorious. Little Carson Palmer helped him out there, and Ryan Matthews. I didn't think Ryan Matthews had a good of a game, but he did, and Jordan Nelson. Bob, why don't we just start with you for this game?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to say. I mean, Eric is starting TJ Yeldon at your flex. It's going to be hard to – I don't know why you're not starting Julian Edelman. I mean, you start TJ Yeldon over Julian Edelman right now. Then even Al Hearns for that matter. So, I mean –
I would almost start everybody else. But
on right there by Eric or by the one we don't name. So, yeah, I mean, he is only to blame himself for losing this one. I mean, starting TJ.
Yeah, but that doesn't win. That doesn't win you the game there, though. He's still
but I feel like I would start. I've done the double tight end in the flex before. I would honestly, everybody else on there is a better option than Yeldon that he has on his bench. Like I know you're looking at not looking at the points, just looking at name.
I agree.
Like those are all better players, but I don't know. Kyle, do you want to kind of what do you have thoughts on this matchup?
So like you said, you didn't think Ryan Matthews had that good of a game. I don't think he really did. I mean, he got 2 touchdowns. Yeah, fantasy wise, he had a good game, but like he didn't get a lot of the carries. I was watching the game, and like the first goal line carry they gave it to what's his face, the short guy,
Sproles.
Sproles. They gave it to Sproles on the 1 yard line, and I mean, he obviously got his touches, and it ended up being a good game. But like 32 yards, it's not like he.
No. Yeah, so he didn't have that.
He was a good runner.
9 carries.
Going forward, it looks like he's not that bad of trouble because he does have Jamal Charles coming back, and Melvin Gordon looks like he's turned the corner a little bit. So even with Peterson out and Matthews not, I mean, I don't think he's in that big of a trouble. And he also picked up Jaren McKinnon.
He's also got Eifert on the team. Like, he's actually got a lot of people that are about to start playing that could make his lineup dangerous.
Do you think I could swindle in a buy low trade for AP?
I probably. I
Yeah,
don't.
but
think-
he's out 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, he's out 3 or 4 months. So
He could be there in time for my championship game, my one game I need him for.
But if you are buying low, I mean, what are you really giving up for a possibility?
I'll give him Corey Coleman, an injured guy for an injured guy. Right? My guy's supposed to come back quicker. All right, moving on. We had the two that are with me on this podcast. Why don't you guys, Kyle? Why don't we just start with you? We kind of already talked about this, but go ahead and tell us what happened out there.
So as opposed to where Hutch got like some really great, performances, Mike was just bad. I mean, all around. Minnesota with 14 being your best player, like, you're not going to win many games like that. And like we talked about, I mean, hindsight, yeah, you could start at Gore, but I mean, that really doesn't save you much. My whole team, top to bottom, didn't perform. We got together today earlier, made sure everybody was in line with the scheme, and hopefully next week we're going to be back at it. Made a few additions with the Matt Ryan. Maybe have to bench Kirk Cousins. We'll see. Who knows? And
that's all you can do, Kyle, is get your team, get them in a tactical spot and move on. That's what good owners do. Yep. Bob, good win. Thoughts on your win?
Feels good to get my first win, but got 2 things. Like Kyle said, his team had a pretty rough week. Only 2 guys in double digits, but then I also kind of got lucky with my kicker and my defense having pretty good weeks. And then my second question is for Kyle. Are you still going to keep Josh Gordon on your team after today?
After what? Sorry.
He has a warrant out for his arrest right now, so I don't know what kind of impact that has for his fantasy value. So,
I talked to him today. It's obviously they're just, they're gunning for him. He's got a negative connotation with the league, and they're trying to take him out, but I think we'll be all right. But I guess we'll have to watch. Yeah, I think, it's always good to have a thug on your team, keep morale up, probably. So, we'll
Fair
see.
enough.
I was hoping that we'll see. It's not like he doesn't have a quarterback to throw to him anyway, so it's not like he's going to be doing much anyway. So,
yeah, I mean, that's not looking good for him. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Josh Gordon. I mean,
he was so close. Why couldn't he just wait like 12 more weeks to play a season? My God.
I don't know. Josh Gordon, he's one of a kind, though. Good win, Bob. It is always nice getting your first win under your belt, even if it's second week of the season. All right, last game we had Gibson. Still a great picture. Versus Robert. Kind of also another blowout. One of those weird, like 100 points still, like in 70, lower point total. Another huge injury to Gibson. Amir Abdullah, he's done for the year. He's on IR. And Gronk still hasn't played, and they still don't know if he's going to come back and play this next week. But good win by Gibson. He has plenty of talent, top to bottom. I don't like his bench. He did say earlier today he needs a running back, and he's willing to give up Marvin Jones if anybody wants him. I don't know why Marvin Jones. But Kyle, thoughts on this matchup?
I would say about 80% of this league could use a running back.
Yes.
So it's not that far fetched, but I think Bennett's gonna have to be fine with Gronk out, and Robert should be thanking me for tying his point total. He could have had the lowest amount of points for 2 straight weeks, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. You're
welcome for keeping out of that situation, but he had high praise after the draft, and his team's it's on the struggle bus. It's on the struggle bus.
Yeah.
But his bench played pretty well. He probably should have just switched everybody out and maybe,
Bob?
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. His bench had a really nice game. His starting live.
Look at that. Yeah, it is. We basically gave Robert the championship after the draft, and he's kissing it goodbye right now. It's not looking very good. Thinking about ODB and the Giants, I have Eli in another league, and he put up a bunch of yards and shit, but they didn't score a freaking touchdown. So Yeah, that was a crazy game because they expected like that game to be in the 30s.
Yeah.
Both teams like just
Oh,
love passing the ball. So I don't know. That was a strange game. But yeah. See, is going to get less and less like role and less carries and stuff like that moving forward. So the curse of the Eddie Lacy is I had him last year, kept on to him for too long. But I guess it looks like the curse is now on Robert with Eddie Lacy, and it's not a good spot to be in because that's just what I've heard. I don't know. You can keep starting him, Robert. I hope you do next time I play you, but I don't know.
I think I had that too.
Yeah. So that was last week, everybody. Kind of want to talk about some injuries. I mean, we kind of did address some of those injuries and what happened over the waiver wire. Actually, let me pull that up. And a recent trade that just went through in our league. Just happened the last 15 minutes, the second trade of the year. But let's kind of talk about some of the key pickups. I just picked up Cameron Artis-Payne.
Kim, I was going to ask you about that. Why did you go with him and not Whitaker?
Matthew Berry told me to do that.
Podcast where they told him that the last time Jay Stewart got injured, Artis-Payne got more touches. I did the same thing. Wasn't going to pick him up, but I heard the same podcast.
Well, yeah, and you got to protect your guys. You know, it's like he's the backup, so I got to protect my guy. I mean, that's just how it is. So I picked up him, and then I literally just picked up Terrell Pryor recently as well.
Well, the Buckeye kid, huh?
Yeah, that doesn't mean I'm a fan. I don't want. I want him to do good for me. A couple catches for a couple yards and a couple touchdowns, but I don't want him to do. I don't want his past school to do good. That's just besides the point, Bob. That's I don't know why we had you on now, but that's who I picked up. I don't know. I needed some different players. Kyle, did you make any moves, and what exactly were those moves?
Yeah, I picked up Matt Ryan. Scored the most points as a fantasy football quarterback so far this year. Now he's on my team. I assume 4 picks, but 5's probably not out of the question this week. He's in my lineup, so that's probably what'll happen.
And Bob?
Yeah, I've initially picked up this guy from the Jets, Quincy Enunwa, and then I noticed that Whitaker was still out there, and everyone needs running back depth. And since I already had Brandon Marshall, there was a 0% chance that I was going to start Enunwa and Brandon Marshall, so I dropped Enunwa, picked up Whitaker, and
that's kind of like starting Decker and Marshall when they were both on your same team. But then
you're going to start number 3 wide receiver on any team, though. Then Nunez probably the guy.
Yeah. He's had a good start to the year.
You're just starting wide receiver 3s.
Yeah. So and then I guess a trade recently happened. It was Matt Jones and Sterling Shepard. Matt Jones and Sterling Shepard went to Mike's team. Doug Martin went to Robert's team. Doug Martin's hurt for the next, they said, 3 to 4 weeks. It's kind of an irrelevant trade. I don't know. I don't really have any thoughts. Bob, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, Robert's taking a bit of a risk, I think, because Martin isn't going to be helping him out for 3 to 4 weeks, and the way the Giants play, they huck it over the yard. I mean, Shepard's going to get his catches, and then from what I saw, I mean, from last week in the Redskins game, terrible. So he's taking a bit of a risk, but it could pay off in the long run. I see why he did it, but hurt him long term, it could help him.
And Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to pick a winner, and I say it's irrelevant, but it'll probably end up working for somebody because everything I've called on this podcast has been wrong. A lot better this past week than week 1. Washington's offense is kind of in shambles, so maybe he'll shine, maybe won't. Sterling Shepard's not bad.
Yeah, he's actually pretty good.
And what I don't understand is Robert scoring the least amount of points in the league shouldn't be playing for the long term. I mean, he needs now.
Yeah.
He just gave up a top 20 wide receiver in Sterling Shepard. So I'm going to question the decisions, but maybe, roommates, are they trying to slowly start colluding? I don't know, you start slow, like, oh, they're just doing irrelevant stuff, and then, it picks up, and I don't know.
Let me check. But I kind of want to just veto this trade just because it's such a relevant trade. I want to veto it because I've had trades in the past being vetoed as well. I know Mike's vetoed one of my trades before, but
that trade just isn't worth their time to veto. Like, that's just, I don't know.
I feel like a lot of trades shouldn't be worth a lot of people's times, but they still go out of their way to veto. At least mine. I feel like I'm like.
Well, everybody feels that with their trades, bro.
Exactly.
I've had one or two.
But irrelevant trade. But I just kind of want to talk about that. And I guess to address the name change, Hutch took a screenshot the other night of a trade that I sent to him and sent it into our group me. I kind of felt a little offended by that of airing out personal conversation between him and I, and putting that out there to unnecessary waters, and then unnecessary backlash that I'm going to get. I won't ever be able to get a trade through now, no matter how hard I try. But I don't know. It was just unnecessary things that didn't need to happen. That's kind of why I went with my team name. I wanted to put Hutch has never made the playoffs, but that was just too long. So I just went Hutch is a mediocre owner, which he is. I mean, and then I feel like my picture resembles that with Richard Sherman calling out Crabtree as being a mediocre receiver. I guess I'm Richard Sherman, and I have a ring. Richard Sherman has a ring. Crabtree is a mediocre receiver. Hutch is a mediocre. So I guess if you want to look at it like that, we're both great. Me and Sherman. But I just had to address that, and his team name is now N Crabtree. If all you understand what happened between the two, you can fill in the blank for the N. There's a couple stars and then Crabtree. But moving on to next week, so we can get to some previews. I mean, that's a big topic on this show. All right, so next week, let's not start with my game. Let's start with somebody else's game. We're going to start at the bottom here. We're going to go with Robert and Hutch. 0-2 versus 2-0. Big matchup, big game. Robert needs it. Hutch doesn't really need it. Kyle, let's start with you. What are your thoughts? A lot of high projections here, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's what I say. It's a high-scoring projection game. Obviously, projections don't mean anything. I think I was projected for like 90-some points this past week, which obviously didn't happen. But looking again, and I'm a matchup guy, to be honest. Looking at Robert's team, he's got some good matchups. Although I guess you could say the same for Hutch. His team's not playing too many good teams. I like the Monday night games, so I'm going to give this one to Hutch. Just because I think if you have Monday night players, you automatically win. So,
all right, Bob. What's the Monday night game, by the way? I'm sorry.
It's the Saints and
Falcons. Yeah.
Okay, Bob.
On paper, Hutch's team should win, but the tide has to turn sometime for the preseason crown champ. So I think he somehow, some way, will pull this out this week. And get his first win. I have no good reasoning why. I just think you're not going to be and whatever forever. And this is the first time he's going to get a win. He's going to win.
Yeah. I just clicked on Russell Wilson, and he hasn't really – I mean, I bet you that's a big reason why Mishler wanted him is because he thought Russell Wilson was going to have a big year. He's only had 2 11-point games. I expect a bounce-back game out of Wilson. And Kyle, I think I said this earlier about the Thursday night game not having a lot of players, but I also feel like a lot of players on the Monday night game is not always key either. I know you just said you like having he's probably bound to win because he's got a lot on Monday night. I think having too much on a particular, like when there's just one game on the line, I think that's a bad thing to have. I wouldn't mind just having Breeze on Monday night and then that'd be it. But
so I will say it does hurt him having Breeze and Ingram being on the same team. I was kind of taking this from my point of view. Like, some of my best players are playing opposite each other. And this game has all the makings, so it should be a shootout. Last week's game for Nolan should have been a shootout. It wasn't. But, like, if it's a shootout on Monday, you're probably scoring a lot of points. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. And who knows? Ingram could get some screens and for some touchdowns, but who knows? All right, next game we got Mr. Henry versus Matthew Gibson. 0-2 Mike versus 1-1 Gibson. Gibson's looking for running backs. He's stated that multiple times for Larry Fitzgerald. However, Kyle, thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, I don't know. Mike's a bunch of questionables over there. Like, my goodness. I think Matt gets his second W here. I know Matt's looking for backs, especially if Gronk plays. I mean, I definitely think he does, but I still think he pulls one out here. I think he's got the better team.
Mm-hmm. Bob?
Yeah, I have to go with Gibson, especially if Gronk plays. I mean, I don't believe in Sammy Watkins, don't believe in Dwayne Allen, and I don't believe in Giovanni Bernard, and I don't believe in Thomas Rawls. There's too many question marks on Mike's team right now, and I think there's more sure things on Gibson's team, and I think Gibson will probably. I'll even say this: he'll win it handily.
Wow.
Ooh.
So kind of reverse of the line, how they think Mike's going to win handily. So you think it should be 11 points?
Well, he's got a 0-point player in his projections, so I wouldn't call it handily.
Yeah, you're right. I'm going to have to go with Gibson as well. I just don't like how Thomas Rawls is not going to do much. Sammy Watkins always seems like he's hurt. I don't know.
He's always hurt, and even when he's not hurt, he's very hit or miss. Like, he either has a huge game or he does nothing. So,
and then Dwayne Allen. I mean, I feel like the dude's just not that good of a tight end, Dwayne Allen. So, Giovanni Bernard gets like 3 touches a game, and then I don't know. I
mean, Bernard just had a big week last week. He caught a bunch of passes, and I don't think he's going to do that every week.
No, no. Who do they play? They play Denver. They may use him more that they're playing Denver, but who knows? I just like we all said. I think Gibson wins, and Gibson wins at least by 12. I'll go 12. All right, moving on. Wait a minute, Kyle, did I say a prediction for that first game? Did I say? I don't know if I said. Oh yeah, I said. No, I did not. I'm gonna go back to it. I'm going with Robert because we got to keep track of our picks. I'll go with Robert for that first game. All right, next match.
Let's get Andrew's picks.
Okay.
At a later date.
We got Andrew 0-2 versus Bob. Bob, why don't we start with you? This is your matchup. Close in projections. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
I mean, I'm not a really big fan of my team. I think there's a lot of question marks with my tight end, Devontae Freeman. Basically, those are the only 2 question marks. But I'm not a big fan of my team, and I think Andrew's roster has the ability to explode any week, and this probably could be, and will be the week. So I'm not too confident in my team this week.
All right, Kyle.
Yeah, no, I think that I think Andrew wins this game. I think I don't know if you want any better options, Bob, but Devonta Freeman is just not. I mean, he's not playing well. Maybe he has a bust-out game, but
well, I'm liking this because I think it's a good matchup against the Saints. So
yeah, it's just who gets those red zone carries, I guess, and who's in the game at the right time between him and Coleman. But I think Andrew gets the W still. Good matchups and a lot of good players on that team.
Yeah, Bob, like the Devontae Freeman, and like we said earlier, the Monday night, maybe it comes down to him having a big game and you get it out of him, or maybe it comes down to him only needing like 6-7 points, and hopefully you can get that out of him. But he just hasn't performed, like you said. However,
it wasn't terrible last week, but overall he's sucked.
Yeah, your tight end spot's a little question mark-ish. But Bob, I'm gonna go with you. I think Andrew's team still is on the decline. I think However, he doesn't have any injuries, like no question marks, doubtfuls, or anything like that, which is key for long-term success. But I'm going to go with you, Bob. I feel good about your team and about that Monday night because Andrew doesn't have any Monday night guys. I'm going to go with your one Monday night guy, and Friedman gets you 15 points this week. That's my prediction. All right. Next game, our commissioner versus Joe. 1-1 versus 2-0. Both in the South Division, Kyle. You need this game to get back into the consideration. What are your thoughts on this matchup and your matchup, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Well, it can't be much worse than last week. Probably won't be as good as week 1. The only thing I'm hoping is, Joe's been he's a good team, but he's about 86, 88 points. That can be beaten any week.
Mm-hmm.
Not certainly if I don't play like I did last week, but if he keeps up his good but not great, I have a chance. But if his team blows up, probably not going to win.
Bob?
Sorry, Kyle, but I'm going to have to go with the other guy because, I think now that Wood is out, I think Melvin Gordon's already been good so far. He's going to get more touches now.
When you play Indianapolis.
And he's playing the Colts, so I really like that. And then Kyle's running back's just kind of a big question mark to me, but it would help you, Kyle, if Allen Robinson could actually do something. He hasn't done jack shit, and he's about any week he could explode, and maybe this is a week, and if he does, maybe that what propels you to win. But until that happens, I'm going to go with the other guy. Just so.
Yeah, Kyle.
I think I need a bare minimum like 40 to 45 point Monday night for me to win is what's going to happen, and it's not impossible, but we'll see. We'll see.
Wow. But hey, again, you are the one guy with a Monday night guy.
2 guys.
You got 2 guys. You have 2 guys.
So those guys can both explode on Monday night too. So prime time, you never know.
Right. Brandon Cooks, he already had like 2 breakout games, right? No, 27.
I mean, he had
27, and you got Matty Ice in his veins. Kyle, I'm going with you. I'm just going with you because of the Monday night. Rashad Jennings. Guess what? Rashad Jennings gets you 15 points this week. Frank Gore will score a touchdown. Jesse James, 5 catches for 50 yards. He'll get you 5 points, just like the projection tells him.
Yeah, that's what I expect.
That's what you're going to get. But guess what? You're going to win. So you're going to walk away out of there with a win. All right. Moving on. Eric versus me. Old roommate matchup. Let me just quickly break down mine. Running back situation. Look, Garrett Blunt's my best running back at this point. It's a little sad. The Patriots are going to lean on him more, is what it sounds like. He's already been getting 20. Let's see, the last 2 games he's gotten 22 and 29 carries. I mean, the guy gets a lot of production, a lot of load, scored touchdowns. So I'm leaning on him in that spot. I think Ty, with Moncrief being out, he's gonna even have more targets, so it's gonna be good for him. And the deck show, you never can go wrong with him. So I like myself in this matchup, even though it doesn't count towards the picks. I just like my team better. Kyle?
Yeah, I think LeGarrette Blount will be fine for you until Brady comes back, because once Brady comes back, the run game becomes a short pass game. I don't know how much he'll be used in that.
Nothing.
You might want to find a replacement there. Do you think T.Y. has a good game? San Diego's defense is not really any better than Indianapolis's is. So, having said that, you still lose to Eric, whose team, I don't know how it's as good as it is, but I think he has a good day again. And
Bob?
Kib, I actually like you in this one. Over the one that we don't not name. So, Todd Gurley and the Rams offense has just been absolutely atrocious, and
right.
and the Buccaneers have a pretty decent front four, so I think it might be another tough week for him. And
well, they know what they're going to do. Like,
yeah, they're just going to pound it with him, and everyone knows it's coming. So
yeah, they can't pass.
And then C.J. Anderson, also going against pretty decent defense, and they're on the road with a rookie quarterback. So that, and then I don't think Will Fuller is going to go with 3 straight 100-yard games to start his career. So on top, and then Theo Riddick.
Yeah.
I mean, until last year, the Lions hadn't won in Lambeau Field since like 1991. So I don't see him doing that great. If anyone's going to do anything, it's going to be Stafford. And so I like you, Kib. I think you're going to win this one.
Yeah, appreciate it. Big thing too is a lot of Monday night guys we've been talking about lately. Eric and I, we both have 2 guys on Thursday night on each team. So I have 2 guys on Thursday. He's got 2 guys on Thursday. So kind of opposites. We're going to have, and I don't think none of us have a Monday night guy at all. So could be an interesting start to the week tomorrow with the Monday night guys going, and I'm excited for it. He's got the Texans, and he's got Will Fuller, like Bob said, and I got Blunt and DeAndre Hopkins. So we'll see how that goes. But that was kind of the previews. Last week, Kyle. Let me go through and see what me and Andrew went. So you went 2-2 because I won. Hutch won. Wait a minute. Joe won, right? Oh, I'm sorry, Kyle. You went 3-1 last week. That makes it
5-3.
5-3,
if I'm not mistaken.
5-3 start for you, Kyle. Andrew lost. Kyle, did you win or lose last week? You lost.
It'll be a day.
Andrew's off to a rough start. He's 2-7. Well, just like his fantasy.
That doesn't add up. Pick a game. Maybe 2-7.
How is he 2-7? Anyways,
you went 1-6.
2-6. He's 2-6. 2-6. Okay. And then I went 2-2, so I stay. I'm 3-5. 3-5. So I'm 2 games back from you, and Andrew's 3 games back. So
makes you feel I don't like any of my picks this week. So
yeah, I forgot who I picked, so I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch this, or the fans will probably tell me who my picks were. That's usually
like you were gonna do that already.
Yeah. But any other closing remarks you guys want to leave the fans out there with before we dive into tomorrow? We got we got the Texans versus New England. Anything else you guys want to let the fans know? Kyle?
No, I didn't get to watch the games until the 4:30 games Eastern last week. Looking forward to sitting on the couch and watching every single game.
All right.
DirecTV NFL season ticket. If you don't have it, get it. Well worth it.
Oh yeah, you got the student edition.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you got to. Bob.
I don't got much. I just think that'll probably be a rough week for me. Andrew's team's about to explode one of these weekends, and this will probably be the weekend. So.
All righty. Well, Andrew, we miss you. Good luck on your test.
He's probably taking the test as we speak.
He probably is. I mean, this actually is being live streamed on YouTube right now. So he might even be listening to it. To death. But thank you to all our fans and all the sponsors. We appreciate everybody out there, and we hope everybody has a good week. And hopefully nobody else gets injured. You don't want that to happen anymore. There are too many injuries happening.
Unless they're on someone else's team.
Yeah, Bob, you ran into some bad stuff. I guess I haven't had that. None of my guys really have had career or season.
And no one go out.
Right.
Zach Ertz.
So, all right. See you later, guys.